What's up, everybody? This is Mike Manzo with another Manzo Files Productions video, and today I am finishing up my kind of series this weekend on everything I picked up at Friday's halfway to Black Friday sale at the Archive in Bridgeport. Uh, you all know what the Archive is by now. I hope you all did some cool digging there. I've seen a couple of people through the Instagram and through here talk about what they were able to score on this weekend through the sale and everything. You know, it's cool. I love seeing the posts and everything. Very awesome. Support physical media, support your local business. It's all great. As usual, gonna have the Vinegar Syndrome site down in the description, and along with all of the labels that I'll be discussing today. And today, as you probably know from the past videos, is going to be focused on the OCN partner labels. So yeah, you know, I've talked about a few of these labels already. Earlier this week, I did a video on partner labels and my recommendations for stuff you should buy during the sale. Probably later on in the year, July, I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of like my favorites of the year so far. So that's going to include records, new release records. It's going to include some reissue records I've really been getting into in 2023. Talk about Vinegar Syndrome's main label releases, maybe a couple of VSAs in there, depends if I end up getting them. And do a video on partner labels. And I'm also still trying to do next month, in honor of Partner Label Month, Partners Month, whatever you want to call it, do a regularly occurring series concerning the partner labels, and you will know more about that when the time comes. So, without any further ado, let's get into what I got. So, first label, I'm going to go in reverse label name, just because what I already have set up. So, starting with VHShitfest, and I only have one other release from them, Satan's Menagerie, which I enjoyed. It's pretty solid. Their newest release, I still have to pick up. That one is called something. Jeez, I don't even remember the name of it, but it's like a low budget kind of ninja action kind of film. Looks really kind of fun, so I can't wait to pick that up. I don't have their first release of the Corn Shucker. It's kind of like hard to get at this point. I know it's like the slipcover's long, sold out. I feel like that sold out before the month was even over when it came out. But even if I could find one without a slip, obviously, if you've seen like my past couple of videos, the slip does not matter to me. It's all about what you get. I'd still love to get it. It's definitely a film that looks very interesting. I like everything I've heard about it. So hopefully I'll pick those two up in the future. But I wanted to pick up this one. I did get a slip. And I'm excited to dig into this because it's kind of a low budget vampire hunter kind of vibe. That is Blood Hunger. This is from, what year is this from? It does not list a year. Great. But VHShitfest doing a really great job with these like kind of forgotten low budget. I don't know if all of them are shot on consumer VHS. So they might be more in line with something like Culture Shock than they are with Saturn's Core. But solid label so far with what they've been releasing. And this looks good. Looks, low budget, very regional kind of vampire movie. which is kind of cool. I don't see a lot of like low budget regional kind of vampire stuff. You know, it's always zombies or creatures or some kind of, you know, like military kind of related thing. But vampires is a little bit more rare. There's a few that are out there. I still need to see Donald Farmer's Red Lips, which was released by either Culture Shock or Soundscore. Donald Farmer tends to be a bit hit or miss for me, so. But yeah, looking forward to digging into this. Got some cool documentaries on it. Making of with cast and crew. That one's called From Russia with Blood. And we got location featurette, a Q&A from 2019, some archival news interviews. We got a director commentary with Jack Shroom. Very cool. Looking forward to digging into that. I've got a couple of Utopia releases. I like Utopia a lot. Great documentaries. A couple of like original films. I really did enjoy Shit and Champagne, which was kind of like a throwback to kind of like a like John Waters kind of vibe. Kind of like a drag action, you know, exploitation kind of film. A lot of like awkward like kind of musical numbers in there too. I just had a blast with it. So, but really, when I think of Utopia and the movies that they released, they're really strong on their documentary game. Some of the ones I've enjoyed in the past have been stuff like, I gotta think back. I really enjoy their documentary on this kid. He's a graffiti writer. It's called Moments Like This Never Last. That one's really, really cool. I like documentaries on like graffiti culture and everything like that. The one I showed off in my video earlier on in the week called Creststone isn't so much a documentary. It's kind of a fictional work, but that's got some interesting stuff in it. The visuals and the music in it are gorgeous. It's definitely one of those films like it's worth like throwing on like the biggest screen you have and enjoying the kind of world it's in. So they have a lot of great music documentaries as well, and picked up a couple of those. And I have not seen this one. I've seen the other one, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first one I picked up was Freakscene, the story of Dinosaur Jr. And Dinosaur Jr. is definitely a band I have a lot of history with. I believe they're from Boston, but you know, growing up in like Western Mass, all the Boston kind of bands all felt like they were from Northampton or Amherst or even like Springfield and stuff like that. Like a lot of these, you know, kind of bands would play around a lot. You know, I'd even see like Lightning Bolt quite a bit in like Northampton and places like that, which I think they were from Rhode Island, if I'm not mistaken. We had the Pixies coming out of Amherst. That was definitely a big deal. Probably one of the greatest bands to come out of Massachusetts, in my opinion. One of my favorite bands of all time. And definitely Dinosaur Jr. fits in with the Pixies very closely, especially albums like Green Mind and You Living All Over Me. The early 90s material is amazing. I love Jay Mascis's kind of like Crazy Horse, Neil Young worship. Very amazing guitar work on all of these albums. They're all like extremely talented musicians. Like Lou Barlow is like just an insane bass player. I've seen them quite a few times. They never disappoint. It's always the loudest fucking show you can imagine. It's just great. So I can't wait to dig into this. We have a director commentary and some bonus interviews. We got a Q&A with Jay Mascis and a couple of trailers promoting the film. So definitely looking forward to digging into this, learning more about the story behind Dinosaur Jr. And this will definitely be very nostalgic, so looking forward to it. The next one I have seen, because it ended up on, I think Showtime. I use my parents' Showtime account. Shh, don't tell anybody. I just don't want Showtime or Amazon getting my fucking money. Big surprise, right? So, but I've been watching a lot of stuff on there, and this is one of the documentaries I've really had on my radar for a while, and I wanted to test it out before I bought it, even though I knew I would love it, and I did, and couldn't wait to go out and get it on a physical copy. And this automatically was on my radar because, once again, this is a very important artist. This is a very important band for me. Pretty much for a lot of my life being into punk rock, this band has always been one of my all-time favorite punk rock bands, even in the range of like the early stuff. I've always loved The Damned. They are probably my favorite of that initial 77 era punk rock explosion. But a very close second, and some days maybe even my favorite, is X-Ray Specs. So I had to pick up I Am a Cliche, the story of Styrene. And this is an interesting documentary. This basically follows around Styrene's daughter, who's, probably in her 30s now, I believe. Maybe she's like reaching 40s. And she's basically going into her past. She knew her mother later on in life, so all of these elements of X-Ray Specs and the early punk rock stuff had pretty much been a past by the time she came around and was aware of her mother's kind of lifestyle and everything like that. And it's a very touching, very emotional journey through a very complex individual, very complex ideas, from a very young age. I mean, she was in X-Ray Specs. She was like, I think 18, 19, saying some things that are very much ahead of her peers at the time. Great kind of icon as far as like feminism and independence and strength as a human. Just X-Ray Specs music is such an influence on somebody who wanted more out of punk, like myself, who wanted just, you have this great potential from all the early punk rock, but what I really get excited about is bands that are willing to do so many things that are just so ahead of the curve, and she is definitely responsible for a lot of Riot Girl kind of acts later on, and that is some of my favorite music as well. Bands like Bikini Kill and Bratmobile, L7, all of these great female-fronted, very feminist, heavy bands owe a lot to X-Ray Specs and their amazing catalog of music, and it's really quite eye-opening to learn about Styrene, her struggles with mental health, her struggles with living in a culture as racially divided and kind of on the brink of collapse that Britain was in the UK in general was during the late 70s and early 1980s. Her struggles with her spiritual identity, her kind of struggles with the responsibilities of being a parent and the kind of effect that had on her child. And hearing her daughter talk about her mother's legacy, kind of from like an outsider perspective, obviously, is very fascinating, and it's also very touching to hear the, despite all the things that kind of went a little bit awry in their life, they have a great amount of respect and love for what their mother was able to give them. So very powerful documentary. Definitely one I'm going to watch a few more times. Just amazing. I highly recommend this. And, maybe if you don't know X-ray specs, seeing a lot of that will get you stronger into them, because I do believe they're one of the best bands of all time. So moving on to something a little bit different. I've seen this one as well. I believe it was on Tubi or maybe Shudder or something. And this had been sold out for a while on the site. They did have a couple of copies in stock. Not too big on the slip, but, why not? This is put out by TerraVision, who, I just gotta say, is not associated with the OCN anymore. They're not being distributed by OCN. A lot of their newer titles are not available on, actually all of their newer titles are not available on the Vinegar Syndrome site. But I still think you should go out and support them. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff still. A lot of the movies they release are amazing. And I got into TerraVision when they were doing, their big focus was on vinyl. In the future, I want to do kind of a video on their amazing vinyl releases. I only got a few. I want to get more. And, seeing them move from these vinyl pressings of, like, pretty low-budget, forgotten films of the 80s and 90s, seeing them move into physical Blu-ray and everything like that is very cool. And this is a great documentary about Floridian filmmaking, which is a subject I kind of know passively about through Herschel Gordon Lewis and my love for his films. You got a person I'm not as big on, but is very important to independent and exploitation film, William Grafé. A very long, and you also have, like, of current day, Grindhouse Video is one of the biggest video distributors in the United States right now. Very powerful in the physical media game. One of the best. I prefer Orbit personally, just because it's closer to me. Shipping's a little bit better through them, but I mean, all of them are solid resources for film. And I think, if I'm remembering right, Diabolic is located in Florida as well. I might be wrong about that. If you want to correct me, it's down in the comments, obviously. But yeah, Blood, Guts, and Sunshine, really, really great stuff. Just a lot of cool. You also got, like, Ted Pryor, a lot of his kind of stuff, which I'm a real big fan of him. Tim Ritter, you got a lot of, like, big names coming out of Florida, and it definitely does have its own culture around film that is kind of unexpected if you think of, Floridian culture. I don't know much about Florida. I've never been. My parents live down there during the winter, and, I'll hear about it from them, but, I don't have any reason to go. I never leave New England, unfortunately, so, but this was great. I had a real good time with this documentary, so I wanted to pick it up. Not a lot for, like, special features. You do have a Grindhouse Video tour, a panel, another tour of another home video store, stuff like that. You got a compilation of trailers, so that's really cool. Yeah, so very fun documentary. Happy to have it. Probably gonna watch it a few more times, just because I enjoy hearing a lot of the input from some of my favorite directors. So I had to get, I'm trying to up my Saturn's core. I only have about 4. This is probably the 5th one I have. And I love a lot of what they're doing for the shot on video kind of market. A lot of that wasn't available for a very long time. You know, a lot of this stuff you were lucky to get a DVD of it. But I really like how Saturn's core and to an extent Terror Vision and Culture Shock, VHShitfest, and then if you want to go over to Severin, their Intervision label, Massacre Video, a lot of these great, SRS has always been a real champion of SOV film. Getting shot on video films on a great like HD format, like Blu-ray, they pack them with extras. They put like other features from the same director or the same kind of like community that these films came out of. It's great. The amount of support that Saturn's core has thrown at Wave Productions is awesome, because I do feel like as far as like the independent DIY scene, as far as filmmaking goes, Wave is to the top of just a great company who knows what their customers want, who put out, for what they're doing, amazing product at very good rate. It just like their perseverance as a company is astonishing. So that's why I wanted to pick up Psycho Sisters, which is probably one of the big Wave Productions associated titles. And I have not seen Psycho Sisters yet, but I'm really excited about this. A lot of the films that have been released through Saturn's core I've liked a lot, especially Savage Harvest and Shattered Dead. I talked about Shattered Dead in my partner recommendations video. So yeah, really excited to dig into this. Tons of great special features. We got like film reels and trailer reels, all this crazy kind of stuff. Early films, we got bonus features, like full, like other movies on here. They're just, Saturn's core kills it. So many cool releases. I love their stuff. Everything I've seen from them I really loved. I forgot to mention, I forget his name, but he did, We Await, which is a really cool shot on video, kind of cult, evangelical Christian kind of film. That was some intense stuff. I think they're all vampires or cannibals. That was cool, and it had another one of his features on there as well. I wish I could remember his name. I'll talk about Saturn's core in more depth in a future video, so I'll look forward to that. But yes, Psycho Sisters, really excited about this. Next up, I don't really know if I should consider this a partner label, but I decided to. This was originally a sub-label of Vinegar Syndrome years before they even had partner labels. I think they might have been working with AGFA at the time, so that was definitely like a partner label, but many consider this a sub-label, but you know, wanted to get it. This has been out of print for quite a while, and lucky for me, it was in the aforementioned in previous videos floater bin, and pretty good copy. Got it for $7. Cannot go wrong. And I'm excited because this actor, filmmaker, is one of my favorites as far as his story and his legacy and the type of things he did on sets, good and bad, are just inspiring and kind of entertaining all at the same time. So we got Dennis Hopper, the American Dreamer. This is a documentary from the 70s. So after the success of Easy Rider, Dennis Hopper kind of wanted to make another film. And this is a documentary about his attempts to make that film, The Last Movie. So there's a lot of great special features on this. I believe it's a DVD Blu-ray combo pack. Really interested in digging into this. I'll do another video on this in the future. or I'll feature it in one of my Stop, Watch, and Listen. And this is put out by Etiquette Pictures, a sub-label of Vinegar Syndrome I don't believe exists anymore, and a lot of these are very hard to find. So really excited to have this. Love Dennis Hopper, despite some of his, shit he did in his later life, and certain problems with his personal life and stuff. Still think he's an American film icon in so many different ways. Championed a lot of great international filmmakers, European, Japanese, Hodorowski, people like that. So really excited. I love hearing him talk about his process and acting and everything as well. So we're looking forward to digging into The American Dreamer. Still need to get probably one of the releases I've really been hyped on. Severin, I don't really pay much attention to. I'm so overwhelmed with Vinegar Syndrome stuff, but I really want to dig into Out of the Blue. It's a movie I've been wanting to see for a while. I will probably do a review dedicated solely to that release. I really want to dig in as much as possible. So I might end up, when I do that, I probably will end up talking about The American Dreamer and even the last movie within that video. So look forward to that. Next up, we got 2 Dekanalogs, and I'll probably end on those. And Dekanalog is kind of interesting. They have a lot of European, kind of more obscure releases. This first one's from Romania, and they also have a decent amount of stuff coming out of Asia. I really did like Detention, which is a Thai film. Very cool. Has based on I believe a manga and video game, so it's got a kind of a lot of those vibes in it as well. So that was really cool. So I'm really excited to dig into this double release with 2 lottery tickets and a month in Thailand. And like I said, these are Romanian films. And Romania, I'm kind of becoming interested in their cinema as well, through Deaf Crocodile's releases of some animated films, Space Station, Delta Space Mission, and Son of the Stars. I still need to pick up Son of the Stars and check that out. But these look very good. Double feature is always kind of cool. I believe they're both the same, similar cast and crew. Don't know much about these, so I don't want to talk too much on them, but yeah, really excited to dig into more Romanian cinema, very probably underrepresented part of the world as far as cinema, and I'm also wanting to pick up some of, forget who released them, but there's been a lot of Polish releases as of late. The Hourglass Sanitarium is one of them that I've really been wanting to pick up. I believe that was Yellow Veil. So, interested in that. And this is from Vietnam, which is another country I'm very interested in what they do as far as film. Very cool to see something like this. And this looks like a very violent, divisive kind of film. I've heard some reviews on it that it's like a you love it or hate it kind of situation. I kind of like the aesthetic just from the packaging. That is KFC, and I believe this is kind of like slightly an anthology kind of around this cannibalistic KFC franchise over in Vietnam. So yeah, this looks like it's very interesting, definitely very extreme, visceral, probably a lot of gore, probably a lot of uncomfortable kind of subject matter. Only extreme fans of extreme cinema need apply. So I love a good challenge, I love a good wake up, a movie that smacks you in the head and be like, yo, this is real, heavy, brutal shit, and you're gonna have to make up your mind how you feel about it. And guess what? The filmmakers do not give one iota of a fuck. So, you're on your own, kid. Enjoy. So, excited about this, excited to dive into this, and excited to get introduced to another great region of the world. I love Hong Kong films. I've been loving Japanese films my entire life. A lot of Korean filmmaking. Starting to get a little bit more into Thai film. Vietnam, bring it on. I'm all here for it. So, excited for those. And yeah, that'll about do it. So that'll sum up my giant Memorial Day trilogy, Memorial Day weekend trilogy of. And as usual, down in the comments, talk about what you picked up this past weekend. If you have any comments on the films I have talked about, if you have further recommendations, everything. It never stops with just the sale. We keep on buying. We keep on supporting physical media. We keep on supporting the people that need it most so they can keep releasing amazing films the way we were meant to see them, and giving voice to a lot of places in the world we might not pay that much attention to, whether it's the backyards of America or it's Asia, Europe, maybe even African countries, South America. All here for all of it. Love physical media, and I love giving voices to people making advanced and forward-thinking cinema, and building communities around amazing culture and art. If you want to find me on social media, my Instagram is the Hordes of Manzerfaust. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Let's keep it going. I'm liking how my videos are doing lately, getting a lot of great comments, getting a lot of views. I love it. Gonna hit 100 probably in a month. I'll do a short video on that. Not pressuring anybody to subscribe if you don't want to. I appreciate everybody that watches these videos, who comments, who appreciates me talking about great art. And that'll about do it. You know what I mean? So. My name is Mike Manzer with another Manzerfaust Productions video, and as always, stay fucking metal.